It's a manoeuvre, I think, driven by weakness rather than strength. Because I think if you're a Prime Minister, you've just been elected by a very, very small number of people, those who voted you in the Conservative Party, and you're trying to do something for which I would argue there is no mandate, because I don't think there's any mandate for crashing out without a deal on October the 31st. And so he's treating Parliament and therefore the public with complete contempt. And I think it's going to backfire on him. I think the risk with Johnson has always been that he'll overreach. And I think he may be doing it very, very early.
But isn't the idea within this, perhaps, to face MPs in late October with vote for the deal I've got now, or there will be no deal? It's not necessarily leading to no deal, is it?
I don't believe, though, that he's going to get a much improved deal. And I don't believe... I mean, the public have got to see through all the kind of propaganda that you get spewed out by the right-wing newspapers. He goes and sees Merkel. I watched the whole press conference. She was basically saying, look, if you've got a clever idea, let us know. You've got 30 days. And this is written as up as some great concession. Same with Macron. Now, listen, they're going to try to be nice to him. He's the Prime Minister. He's the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. We're an important country still. But I don't believe that he has a mandate for no deal, and I don't believe he has a new plan. And his plan now, therefore, is to try to just drive this through Parliament, and that partly is about time.
Backfire, but I mean, it does put those Remainers in Parliament, and let's not just call them Remainers, the no dealers, because there are plenty of people amongst them who would support a deal. They just don't want no deal. Puts them on the spot, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So how should they react?
Well, they need to be put on the spot, because ultimately this whole campaign, Take Back Control, it was meant to be about parliamentary sovereignty. It was meant to be about... We've never had the European Parliament prorogued, by the way. We've had an old Etonian Prime Minister tells an old Etonian Cabinet Minister, Rees-Mogg, to go up and see the Queen in a Scottish castle to shut down Parliament. This is not a very modern British approach, I wouldn't have thought. So I think what he's trying to do, yes, is confront the MPs with some difficult choices, and it's time they rose to it. It's not that long ago, Matt Hancock, Amber Rudd, Nicky Morgan, all out there saying that prorogation would be a step too far. And of course now they're sitting around the cabinet table, presumably doing nothing. Other MPs,
but the tactics,
especially those who were in the cabinet, have got to stand up.
It was only yesterday when those that opposed no deal got together, well, most of them anyway, with Jeremy Corbyn, and decided it was going to be the legal route. They were going to try and pass legislation in the House of Commons that would become effective before October the 31st and force Boris Johnson to not allow no deal. They haven't got the time for that now, have they? The only way is a vote of no confidence.
They've got less time for it. They've got less time for it.
Can still be done?
I think it can still be done. And actually, I think the other way where this may backfire is that I think some of those MPs who may have just been thinking, maybe if I wait and see and I'll just sit quietly, I think they realise now, they've seen just how prepared he is to do absolutely anything, including dragging the Queen into this, to get his way. And I think some of them, I hope, will be emboldened. And actually when Parliament does come back, yes, they haven't got much time, but you know, the fundamental questions haven't changed. So they have got to stand up now and be counted and start to answer those questions.
So what do you think happens next week then?
I don't know, but I hope that what emerges out of the process that started yesterday, I thought it was good that Jeremy Corbyn called that meeting. I thought it was good that people sat around a table and decided, look, whatever our differences and whatever we said about each other in the past, this is what we've got to try and stop, because it is so bad for the country. So I hope that the MPs come back. And yes, you're going to have the Johnson people who will just be saying, you know, gung-ho, we carry on. But I think enough MPs ought to get together and try
to do what? To the legislative route?
Yes, absolutely.
So fast forward that process in 2 weeks?
Well, listen, if that's all they've got, that's what they're going to have to try to do. And I think that, you know, I'm not a constitutional expert, but I've spoken to people today who say that it's difficult but not impossible.
And if it does fail before prorogation, then all they've got is 2 weeks and a bit.
Yep. And then
in October, so it's got to then be a vote of no confidence, has it not? And indeed install a different government. Otherwise, Boris Johnson sits it out and calls a general election after October the 31st.
And it may be, I don't know, I can't read his mind, it may be that actually what he's been planning the whole way through is a general election. But just remember, he should reflect a little bit. He may consider himself to be a better campaigner than Theresa May, which is not difficult. But just remember what happened to her. She inhaled the propaganda, she believed that she was invincible, she went out to the country, and the country decided, you know what, we don't like this. And they decided not to give her.
But isn't
the
it all
mandate
about
she wanted.
the willingness to go through with no deal? Everyone believed, MPs believed, the European Union believed that in her heart of hearts, Theresa May as Prime Minister would not risk no deal Brexit for the UK. Boris Johnson is showing MPs and the European Union, crucially, that he is prepared to go through with it. Therefore, aren't they more likely to throw him some kind of concession in the withdrawal agreement?
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I mean, look, they know, as he knows, just how bad no deal would be for this country. And I think Theresa May does have to take some responsibility for this. She legitimised no deal in many ways by constantly saying no deal better than a bad deal. I think most of the MPs, including a considerable number of Conservatives, understand now that no deal would be a catastrophe. Understand also that for all Michael Gove's propaganda on this, we are not ready for it. And therefore, I still think that, and otherwise, I'm going to lose faith in parliamentary democracy, because that's what we're meant to be.
Because but isn't this back to that point? Those that believe no deal would be a disaster may well have the opportunity to vote for another version of the deal that failed to get through, and take that as the lesser of two evils.
Right, but then he's into his same problems as Theresa May had with these Rees-Moggs and his Bakers and his Farages and all these people. He's still worried about that, I think, more than he is about the genuine national interest.
But he flips the DUP, he gets 10 or 20 more Conservatives, and it gets through.
Well, we'll see. But I honestly don't think he's. I don't think that's his game. My sense has been that look, he's a campaigner. He's a gambler. I think he wants an election. I think he thinks that he can destroy Jeremy Corbyn in an election. And you know what? I actually think the country is going to be very, very sassy about an election, and I think they would make him pay a price.